Hello there YouTube, it's Gojira Prime with another Transformers video review, and today we're taking a look at Super Class Transformers Energon Megatron. Now what we have here is the Transformers Energon incarnation of the Megatron character from the Unicron trilogy. Now this is the largest version of Megatron that was available as part of the Energon line. There was a smaller deluxe Voyager scale figure that also came out in the line as well, but this is the larger super class version of the toy. Now this is the original version. There was also a repaint done as part of the line where he was upgraded, given extra powers, and became Galvatron. Now that toy was just a repaint of this one, but done in purple and orange. And that was, those were the only two versions of the Super Class toy released as part of the line. Now here we have Megatron in his Cybertronian jet mode with his tank weapon accessory on top of him, which is secured via four tabs or ports on top. He does also come with this clear Energon sword, which does plug into the tank when in robot mode, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So first off, we'll just go round the jet itself. Now this is a completely sci-fi made-up design. It kind of looks like a bird to me in certain angles, but it's just me. It is quite an unusual design. You've got the cockpit section here with this clear translucent green plastic. You've also got these giant cannons on the front of the toy as weapons. And one thing you can do with him as well is he does have a super combat mode, which is when you just lift up the wing sections here and additional guns are deployed from the wings as well, and you get more of this translucent green plastic as well. But we'll just fold that up for now. The figure is dominated also as well by these two large engines here, which double up as Megatron's legs when in robot mode, and then obviously you have the cannon on top here as well. Now this cannon does have light and sound effects, but as with most of my toys in my collection at the moment, the batteries have long since died and need to be replaced, and I've just not gotten around to doing it, so I won't be able to demonstrate those functions in this video. The aircraft does also have landing gear, so you can roll it on the floor if you wanted to, like this. Rolls quite well on this plastic table. But yeah, overall, it's quite an interesting little design. It's something very different. We've got these big Decepticon logos on each wing. But in regard to the design itself, it is something very, very different for Megatron. Previously, Megatron had been obviously his G1 handgun and tanks, and this is the first time we get Megatron as a jet mode vehicle. Aside from this particular version of Megatron, I don't think another Megatron was a jet exclusively until Transformers Prime. Cybertron was a dragster / jet vehicle, so he was a triple changer. Animated was a helicopter. So yeah, this was the first jet Megatron. So we'll just detach the tank mode for now. I'll just quickly go around the tank mode actually as well while I've got it off. The tank is completely static. It has no moving parts. It does come with a missile, which can be fired by pressing on this button here, but unfortunately I have lost my missile. One thing I do remember about this toy when it was working is that the sound it made was really, really annoying as hell. So in some ways I'm actually glad that the batteries no longer work in this thing. And then you have a space at the back here which will take this sword in just a moment. But, the tank mode's quite nice. It's got nice black and green detailing on it. The green section, I think, is meant to be battle damage when looked at the rest of the tank, especially here on the side, and then again on the top of the tank there. Now, just to go over the history of the character, the reason that this is such a radical departure from the Armada Megatron figure from the Armada line is that at the end of Armada, Megatron was fused with Unicron and spent 10 years apparently in some form of deep hibernation, rebuilding his body from the ground up. And when he emerged, he was in this mode. This tank here, I think, is probably, if I remember right, a homage to his Armada mode. It does look kind of reminiscent of the Armada tank, quite a bit. I mean, I don't know if this is meant to be representative of an actual real-life tank, but it's quite an interesting tank design. It's got some nice molded detailing in there, and it does have some wheels on the bottom, so it will roll as well. So just to go through the transformation process for Megatron, as with other Energon toys, it's quite a simple process to actually do, so I'll just run through it fairly quickly. First off, we'll just fold up the wheel sections there, and then what we're going to do is you're going to lift the wings up, like so. So they're completely out the way, and then you're just going to rotate this whole section all the way around. Then you take the engines and you pull each one down like this to form his legs. And then you just pull the wheel section down here and again here to bring out his feet. And I'll just have to raise my camera a bit more. And then you just go to the back, and then what you do is you take the head section for the jet and just pull it completely down. And then his arms, which just kind of spring-loaded, will snap out automatically. And then you just take the head section here, fold it down, lift up his antennae, and there you have Transformers Megatron Energon in his robot mode. Now, it has to be said, this figure is a complete... Let's see if we can get this in a better position, actually. It is a complete brick. It has virtually no articulation whatsoever, aside from in the arms here at the elbow. And you can kind of move his legs a little bit, but that's more to do with the transformation. So this figure is a brick. But it has to be said, it's a very nice brick indeed. I really do like how this thing looks. Now, to look at the figure, if you are a G1 Transformers fan, you will instantly look at this figure and not see Megatron, but you will see Galvatron. This Energon version of Megatron is heavily molded on the Galvatron design from G1, really. Even the cannons, which you have here... Oh, mine's just popped off. This is notorious on my figure. It's always doing this. There we go. It's always snapping off that one particular cannon. Even these cannons, and I'll just get the camera in here a bit more. Even these cannons are molded to look like the Generation 1 Galvatron cannon arm piece that that Galvatron came with. And I think that's quite a nice touch and quite a nice homage to the original line, in that we're getting a figure that is essentially Megatron, but it is made to look like Galvatron, kind of double homage in one sense. So I really do like how this thing looks. I just wish it had a lot more articulation than what it does have. But yeah, I really enjoy it. The grey colouring, the nice big Decepticon logo on the chest. He's got a really, really nice face sculpt as well. If I can just get this to zoom, there we go. So he's got a really, really nice face sculpt in there as well. And there's just lots of nice little details in molding. But this thing screams G1 Galvatron, really, at the end of the day. And in fact, the purple and orange deco that was done for when he does become Galvatron in the show, screams Galvatron even more with its color scheme. But yeah, this is a really, really nice looking figure. It's just a shame that it is such a brick at the end of the day. Now, the tank itself does attach to Galvatron in robot mode and actually does form an arm cannon. What you do to attach it is you have this like door thing here on the bottom of the tank, and you just open that up like that, and then it just slots onto his arm on this section here, like so, and then he's got this massive tank arm cannon kind of thing as well. Now, if you don't want to use it as a cannon, what you can do is you can just take it off, and then you take the sword and plug the sword in to the back, like so, and now he has a sword weapon instead. And again, you just attach it, please. There we go. And then he can use it as a sword weapon. So it's quite it's a multi-tool thing at the end of the day. But yeah, I really do like how this character looks. It's meant to be a different incarnation of Megatron, but it also looks a lot like G1 Galvatron as well at the same time. But aside from the color scheme difference between this version and the Galvatron version, there's no real difference between the actual figures themselves. They all have the same light and sound gimmicks at the time. So just as a size comparison, to show you what he's like with other figures, here he is next to the Energon Optimus Prime, which I reviewed in my last video. And there we go. As you can see, if I bring my camera down a bit here, he is quite a sizable figure compared to this Optimus Prime. And the Prime only really scales up to Megatron's level when it's in Super Optimus Prime mode. So this is quite a large figure at the end of the day. And if I just move him to one side, here he is next to a more modern Optimus Prime figure, the Voyager class Siege figure. And again, he is really, really massive. This is a big, big figure. It's a big, hefty thing at the end of the day compared to more modern day figures. And just for fun, here he is next to Transformers Beast Wars Optimus Primal. And again, he's a lot bigger than Primal as well, which was a figure that came out there's about 5 to 6 years, I think, between these two figures. So not that long a space of time. So yeah, there is Transformers Energon Megatron. I think the figure's great itself. I think it's a really nice looking piece. A lot of nice molded detail. Nice. I'm not a fan of the light and sound gimmick. I'll be honest with this tank. The tank is really, really annoying. Really, really annoying. But aside from that, I think the whole figure looks great. I think the vehicle mode is really, really interesting and something really, really different. And I am kind of hoping that maybe at some point we'll get a more modern day version of this thing, like what we did with the Armada Megatron a couple of years ago. If, the next set of series after Kingdom is going to be the Unicron trilogy, fingers crossed, we get a more modern version of this character. So if you are looking at classic Transformers characters and toy lines, and if the Unicron trilogy is of interest to you, and you are able to get this figure still, my advice, I definitely get it. I would really, really get this. It's a really nice piece. It's big, chunky, playful. Yeah. I really, really do like this thing. I really, really do like it. I think this is probably my favorite version of Megatron from the Unicron trilogy. And I do have the Cybertron version of this character as well. But this is definitely my favorite version out of those two. So thanks for watching the video. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.